Welcome, my friends, to a new kind of video on my channel. This is my attempt at making a faction overview for Lothlórien in Divide and Conquer. Version 5 is as new to me as it is to you, and my plan is to make an overview for the faction that I'm currently playing a campaign on. That's why I'm going for Lothlórien first, since I do believe that I have learned a great deal about how this faction works via my playthrough. Let's not wait, let's begin the overview. Lothlórien, the Golden Woods, the home of Galadriel and Celeborn. Let's begin by talking about their starting domain. You start off with two regions in your control, Khazad-dûm and Limhir, the first being a huge city and the latter a large town. Two solid regions to start your campaign off with, especially Khazad-dûm with its beautiful custom battle map. You will have a few turns early of relaxed gameplay that you can utilize to try and grab rebel regions close by your homeland, mainly Erui to the north of your capital, Adrian to the southeast at the river here, and Rochberg. Be aware though, for Rohan will also go for Adrian and Rochberg, so you should really prioritize trying to get them as fast as you possibly can. In terms of neighbors, you have Khazad-dûm to the west, Goblins and the Anduin Vale to the north, Dol Guldur to the east on the other side of the river, as well as Rohan and Isengard to the south. Rohan and Isengard should be occupied with each other most of the times, which would leave your south quite safe. Your main enemy the majority of your campaign, depending on how long the fight takes, will be Dol Guldur, and they can be quite the pain to fight against. Trust me, I know, in my own playthrough, they are a pain. They will always outnumber you, and they will always be able to outproduce you. So be prepared for a lot of fighting against their many armies. Try and conquer Dol Guldur from them, and you'll stop the Nazguls from coming back. The goblins might cause you quite a bit of issue as well, especially at Erui if you have taken it. The Anduin Vale usually won't be able to withstand the hordes of the goblins on the western side of the river, so you might just share a border with them sooner rather than later. In terms of starting generals and custom bodyguards, you get two at the game's start. Haldir, your faction heir, fights for your nation with the Elbereth Sentinels, a strong arch unit that can dish out a lot of damage from afar and in melee. Celeborn, your faction leader, comes with one of the strongest units in the game, the Galaith, a hybrid archer and spear unit. We'll talk about their stats at the unit part of the overview later in the video. Make sure that you use both these guys as much as you possibly can, because let me tell you, they're absolutely insane. You can get a few more custom generals, but I'll tell you about those when we talk about the scripts of the campaign as well. Looking then at the buildings you can get as Lothlórien, there's nothing that can really hinder you here. You can maximize your regions to large cities or strongholds. So pretty much every economical building can be built at its highest tier. In terms of armor levels, you can reach up to the 4th tier smithing. Not as good as your high elven kin to the west or the dwarves. Even some human nations have better smithing than you. Concerning guilds then. You have two of them that can pop up to be built. The Dance Guild focuses on bonuses for you on the campaign map and can be built all the way up to the 3rd tier. One thing to note is that there can only be one tier 3 guild building on the entire map, so it's insanely hard to get it all the way up to tier 3. You also get the Bladesmiths Guild, which focuses on military bonuses. More morale and upgraded attack is always a huge plus. The Bladesmith's Guild goes up to Tier 2. This is one of the best parts of this nation. There are 2 scripts that give some really nice bonuses to you and your faction. Let's begin with the easier one. Absent Generals. In this script you can get 3 more custom generals to fight for you. It's pretty easy. You just need to conquer regions and wait for a specific amount of turns to have passed if you're fast enough. Let me go through how you get them. The first general you probably will get is Enpremi, and in order to bring him back to your nation you need to have passed the 10th turn and controlled 5 regions or more. Enpremi comes with the strong Galadrim swordsman. The second general that I got in my own campaign was March Warden Rumil, and to unlock him you need to have passed the 30th turn and Dol Guldur must be one of your settlements. Rumil comes with the deadly Lothlórien March Wardens. To get Orofin, 30 turns needs to have passed and you need to control 8 or more regions. Orofin also comes with Lothlórien March Wardens. And that's it for the first script. Let us move for the next one, the Elven Union. Here we go. This is the big one and the one that will have huge effects on your campaign. In order to trigger the Elven Union script, the 45th turn needs to have passed and you need to have an alliance with the Woodland realm. Easiest way to get them as an ally is to offer them a settlement at the same time when asking for the alliance with your diplomat. Once you're allied to each other, there will be a message popping up talking about a messenger from the Woodland realm. Make sure you read this message. One thing to note is that you can still accept the messenger if you want to decline later. After some turns, you'll get another message talking about a large Mordor army on the way towards Caras Galadhrim, and you can then, if you want, pay some extra gold, 3,000, to get some extra troops that join you in the defense of the Golden Woods. Once the stack has attacked you and the Mordor army has been defeated, you'll then get another message telling you to march a diplomat towards Thranduil's halls. After 2 or 3 turns, you should get the last message if you want to accept or decline the union. Let's go through the different bonuses you get depending on if you accept or decline the alliance. If you choose to decline the union, you won't unite and you'll stay as separate factions. You will, however, gain some huge bonuses to your faction. The first unlock you get is the mighty Berio I Angalaith, the same unit that Celeborn has as his bodyguards. This is one of your best units. And for version 5, you'll be able to recruit the Berio in every region you have. They are no longer restricted. This is huge. In the previous version, if I remember correctly, I think they were locked to Caras Galadhrim only and possibly Dol Guldur if I'm not mistaken. But the fun doesn't end here. The greatest thing you unlock is the building, Yavanna's Garden, which provide... I can't even... It's insane. It's absolutely insane the bonuses that they give. Just look at the stats that they bring for you. Make sure you build them straight away when you can. And of course, this is the building you get the mighty ends from. You can build this building in the following regions: Caras Galadhrim, Dol Guldur, and Thranduil's halls. If you want to construct it in Thranduil's halls, you'll sadly be forced to go into an elven war with your kin for control over this region. So, what do you then get if you unite? The first thing you'll note is that all of the Woodland Realms regions will go into your control. You now control all of their territory, all of their current armies, and their generals. The mighty elven lords Legolas and Thranduil will join you. Sadly, they will fight for you with your standard bodyguards. The regular standard bodyguards, not their bodyguards that they had with them when being a part of the Woodland Realm. Do note that they still have their special abilities though. You'll also be able to recruit some of their most solid troops. Let's go through which ones you get when you unite. The Woodland Horse Archer. The only Horse Archer you'll be able to get. Maithori Thwair. Powerful shock troops with armor-piercing axes. Elven King's Axe Guard. Also armor-piercing, with a high defense to go with it. And the Elven King's Gate Guard. These dudes have a really impressive attack stat, let me tell you. Lothlórien is the more defensive and the Woodland Realm is the more offensive of these nations. So the fact that you get some of their most offensive troops really is a big bonus. They fill up your roster quite nicely. You thought you'd be without the Ents if you unite? No, that's not the case. You can get the Ents if you conquer Isengard. That's the only region where you can get the Ents from, if you accept the Union. They are available from the Citadel upgrade building and can be recruited without any culture requirements. So, if you have accepted the Alliance, I would say it's really worthwhile going for Isengard in order to get those strong 3 men. I think that's it for the campaign side of the overview. Let's move on to the unit section. At last, we've finally reached the unit section. Let us go through the stats and abilities of the Lothlórien roster. Let's begin by looking at the standard bodyguard unit that you get for Lothlórien, the Elbereth Sentinels. These guys are quite low in numbers since they are the bodyguard unit, but do not let the numbers bring them down too much, because they are a force to be feared. Melee attack of 11, missile attack of 11, charge bonus of 9, which is actually really great for an archer unit, total defense of 28, 15 of which is in armor, and 13 in defense skill. They are adept at hiding in woods, as well as reliable in woods. They have an excellent stamina, they have excellent morale, and it's also locked. Their Marauder response is good. They have a faster speed than most units with 110%. They have a bonus against camels, wargs, olifants and the black mounts of the Ulari. 32 missiles with 220 meter range, and their accuracy is exceptional. One thing to note is that exceptional accuracy for elves is better than exceptional accuracy for orcs, for example. Let's jump over to the units that are available from the first line of military buildings. Let's start with the Lórien Sentries. A 127 elf battalion with a 7 attack, 5 charge, 15 total defense, 4 in armor, 7 in defense skill and 4 in shield. They're good at hiding in woods and also reliable in woods. Morale is good, morale response is good. They have a movement speed of 115. Elves tend to have a higher movement speed than most other nations. And with more movement speed, you'll be able to flank and make great plays easier. They have a bonus fighting in forests and snow, and a penalty fighting in barren type of land. I would use these guys as flankers, flank behind enemy lines and surround enemies with these guys. They can hold the line, but not very good, as I learned myself in my own campaign. You have other units that fill that role a lot better. Moving on to the Lórien Warders. These are the guys you want as your frontline units, holding the line at its thickest areas. The Lórien Warders have been heroes in my own campaign, and in one battle, one single unit of these guys held off an entire Mordor army at a choke point and gave me the time to use my archers. They come with a 6 attack, 5 charge, 16 total defense with 4 in armor, 8 in defense skill and 4 in shield. They can make a shield wall, which is really useful. They're skilled against mounts, they have excellent stamina, morale is good, morale response is good, they have a movement speed of 115, so once again faster than most other units. Bonus in forests and snow, penalty in barren lands, and an added bonus versus horses, camels, wargs and mounted Nazgul. The Archers of Lórien. These are the ones you want to use to get the killing done for you. 5 melee attack, really great when considering that these are your starting tier archers. 6 missile attack, which is also really great, on par with human ranger archers in terms of missile attack. A 3 in charge, 10 in total defense with 4 being in armor and 6 in defense skill. These guys are glass cannons, they are easily killed by enemy archers and cav, so try and protect them. They come with excellent stamina, good morale response, a movement speed of 115%, they have 20 missiles, which is not too many honestly, they can run out of arrows quite fast, range of 180 meters and an average accuracy. Remember that these guys are elves, so they're still quite accurate. Then we come to the first cavalry unit in your nation, the Lórien Scouts. At first glance, the stats don't look too impressive and the cost for these guys is quite high. But this is the only cavalry unit you'll be able to recruit for quite some time. So if you ask me, they're insanely valuable. Cav always is, and remember that you're facing some trash nations, so their stats are okay, considering that you'll fight against goblins and the forces of Dol Guldur most of the time. They have an attack of 6, a charge of 4, which is really quite bad on cavalry, 13 total defense, 4 in armor, 5 in defense skill and 4 in shield. They have a good morale with a good morale response, movement speed of 120, so they'll outrun almost every unit that you face. They actually have a bonus against wargs and other horses as well, which is quite nice. I would bet that they'd lose in a 1 versus 1 against a warg unit though. Also available at the game start, but somewhat a tier higher than the previous units, is the Galadrim. These are your ideal flanking troops and silent killers. An attack of 12, that's really good, with a charge bonus of 8. Their offensive capabilities are really strong. In terms of defense, they have a 14 in total, 5 in armor and 9 in defense skill. Try to protect these guys from enemy missile fire, as they will melt quite fast if they end up getting shot at. They can hide anywhere, they frighten nearby enemy infantry, that's a really good extra trait and makes them even better for flanking and routing enemy troops. Excellent stamina, which really seems to be the norm of all these units. Very good morale and a good morale response. Really good movement speed of 125% to go with the rest. In conclusion, flank with them. Moving on to one of my absolute favorites then, the Gerberleg. These guys are deadly, they absolutely are. A melee attack of 11, which is splendid for an archer, but then again, these are not your regular archers though. A missile attack of 14. Yes, you heard that right. 14. They only have a range of 70 meters though, so think of these guys more like a javelin unit. They have a charge of 8, which is also insane for an archer. Total defense of 11, with being 5 in armor and 6 in defense skill. So yet another glass cannon type unit. They can hide anywhere. They're skilled against mounts. They're also effective against armor with their missile attack. So here we have some dedicated troll killers. 14 missile attack with it being armor piercing. these guys will melt anything they fire on. They also use the scatter shot, which means that they fire multiple arrows when they fire. Their morale is very good and the response is good. They have movement speed of 125%, an exceptional accuracy, but only 4 missiles. They can only fire 4 times. Try and use them against the most deadly unit on the battlefield or on big blobs of units. Probably one of the funniest units in the game to use, and they look really cool as well. The Avana's Chosen then. The first halberdier type unit you'll get. Really good at holding the line and excellent cavalry killers. They come with an attack of 9, charge of 5, total defense of 19 with 9 in armor and 10 in defense skill. Try to not get hit by enemy archers or javelins with this unit. They can form a spear wall. They're skilled against mounts. They are also effective against armor. So here we have another armor killer. Very good morale and good morale response. Looking at the speed, they have 115% and some added bonuses against camels, wargs, horses and the Mumakil. The Sentinels of Karen Amroth. Here we have a solid sword and board type unit. 11 attack, charge of 6, total defense of 22. We're starting to move up now in terms of overall stats. 9 is in armor, 8 in defense skill and a shield value of 5. These guys are pretty decent at holding the line or to flank with. They can do most tasks you want them to do. They're about on par with Gondor swordsmen. Very good morale and good morale response with a speed of 115%. Just a reliable sword and board unit, nothing more than that. Your dedicated mid-tier archers, the Lothlórien March Wardens. This is where Lothlórien begins to shine. They come with a melee attack of 9, a missile attack of 8. Yes, 8. And these are still your mid-tier archers. Charge of 6, total defense of 14, with 6 being in armor, 4 in defense skill and 4 in shield. So these archers actually use a shield after they're done with their bow. They can hide anywhere. They have very good morale and good morale response, a speed of 120, 34 missiles with 230 meter range and an exceptional accuracy. This is a huge jump in quality from the previous Lórien archers. Recruit them whenever you can and watch the enemy hordes melt from range. At last we've come to the mighty Etherbin, your best cavalry unit. Cavalry is always great, and these quality horses have a powerful charge. An attack of 8, a charge bonus of 9, which is really great on a cavalry unit. 18 total defense, 9 in armor, 5 in defense skill and 4 in shield. Not the highest defense in the world, but still good enough, I would say. Cavalry is not your thing, it's not your faction focus, but these are great and should be used as much as possible. They require Karas Galadon or Dolguldur, so you can only recruit them in 2 locations. They inspire nearby troops. They have very good morale and good morale response, speed of 110% and a secondary attack of 7. So not as great as the initial attack, but still decent. Try to use these units as charges only, just in and out. That's how you maximize the damage with them. Let's move on to the dedicated elites of this faction. Here we have another halberd type unit. The Galadrim guards are far greater than the previous Avana's Chosen. Now we've finally reached the guys with the sexy armor from the Peter Jackson films. Oh lord, these units looks great. A solid attack of 10, a charge of 6, 26 in total defense with 15 being in armor, 11 in defense skill. Easiest way to take these guys out is with armor piercing units and javelins, so try and protect them from that. Other than that, excellent line holders. They can form spear wall since they are halberdiers. Skilled against mounts, effective against armor, really great that one of your strongest units is also armor piercing. Morale is excellent and locked, morale response is good, speed is 110%, and they have some bonuses against camels, though you rarely ever face camels, wargs, horses and the mighty Mumakil, a dedicated anti-large unit. They won't have bonuses against trolls though, since they are considered infantry. The Battle of Helm's Deep comes to mind when you look at the Galadrim swordsmen. Excellent looking unit with big elven swords. They have an attack of 15. They'll be able to carve through even the toughest of opponents with those attack stats. Charge of 9, so really powerful on the charge as well. Defense of 24, with 15 being in armor and 9 in defense skill. Once again, try to avoid armor piercing troops when using these swordsmen. As with the gods, they have excellent morale and it's locked. Good morale response, 110 speed, really great considering they have heavy armor that they use. They can hold the line, they can flank, they can do a lot of things, but I would say their primary role is to flank while your gods hold the line. The Golden Archers of Lothlórien, one of the best archers of the game. 11 in melee attack, insane for an archer. 10 missile attack, one of the highest ranged attacks in the game. Then they have a 9 charge, a 9. Absolute shads as archers and really great melee combatants as well. In terms of defense they have 22 in total, 15 in armor and 7 in defense skill. Once again locked at excellent morale and good response. 110 speed, 32 missiles with 220 meter range and a very high accuracy to go with that. All in all, absolute beasts of war. Let us now move to the Uber tier troops. Wow. Just wow, my friends. First of all, just look at the unit in itself, looks so damn good. Secondly, their stats and the fact that they're one of the best archers of the game as well as one of the best spears in the game. The Berioi Engelife is a hybrid masterpiece of a unit. 16 attack, 10 missile attack, 7 in charge, 33 in total defense, 16 being in armor, 11 in defense skill and a 6 in shield. They're skilled against mounts, they have unwavering morale. Never will the mighty Berioi Engelife run away no matter how grim the fight may be. Movement speed of 110%, bonus against all large foes except trolls. 32 missiles, range of 220 meters and an accuracy that's very high. The Berio is without a doubt one of the best units in the game. They remove the weakness to cavalry that almost every archers have, since they have a flippin' spear as their melee weapon. Truly a glorious reward when declining the alliance. Oh boy, here we go. The mightiest unit in your roster, and everything the Ologai wished it was. It's the Ents. Recruitable in Kara's Galadon, Amon Lank and Thranduil's halls if you decline, and Isengard regardless if you decline or accept. There are 10 trees per battalion and they come with an attack of 45. 40 flippin' 5. Charge bonus of 15, total defense of 41 with 21 being in armor and 20 in defense skill. And they also have 7 hit points. Can be explained that every unit in the end squad has 7 lives basically. They frighten nearby enemies, they may charge without orders, they cannot be staggered. This means that they are unaffected from hacking and slashing from enemy soldiers, they simply won't be stunned. Excellent morale, which is also locked, impetuous response, speed of 70%, but they're still really fast for their size. Bonus against all other mounted units. The Ents can kill everything you send them to fight against. Although little bit weaker to armor piercing and armor piercing missile troops. The biggest weakness they have is siege weapons. Be aware of catapults and ballistas. Use them whenever you can and you'll see strength as you've never seen it before. We're not done with the units yet though. I also want to go through the Woodland Realm units that you can get if you accept the alliance. Coming in as the only horse archer you'll be able to recruit. And they're pretty damn solid if you ask me. But remember, you won't be able to get them for quite some time. And I do believe they're more useful to the Woodland Realm than to you. 7 melee attack, quite great for a horse archer. 6 missile attack, also really great, since they won't ever get caught. Charge of 3, really poor, but they're still cavalry units, so they can still inflict a lot of damage to weak missile troops. Total defense of 8 with 4 in armor and 4 in defense skill. So watch out for enemy missiles. They can form the shooting circle, their morale is good, same with response, 110 speed, 30 missiles, 140 meter range and a high accuracy. The Maithori Thawair. Offensive heavy hitting axe wielders that looks damn cool. Attack of 11, a powerful charge of 9, total defense of 17, 9 in armor and 8 in defense skill. Effective against armor. Very good morale and good morale response. Speed of 115%. Get the Maithor on the flanks and perform charges in the back of heavily armored opponents and they should thrive. The Elven King's Axe Guard. One of my favorite Woodland Realm units. Just look at those shields. They look so good. The Axe Guards can take both a defensive role and an offensive. They can make a shield wall, which allows them to hold the line effectively for a long time, and they are also effective against armor with their axes. Excellent morale, which is locked, and good morale response, movement speed of 110%. They come with an attack of 10, charge of 8, total defense of 26, 13 of which is in armor, 8 in defense skill and 5 in shield. Get these units as often as you can, as they can perform many different tasks to great effect. And then we at last come to the Elven King's Gate Guard. This is like the Gardinen on steroids. Look at that attack, 17. It's insane. If you get the golden chevron and an upgraded attack at the guild, you can get the attack up to 21. That's really powerful. They come with a charge of 10 as well. Insane damage dealers. That's what this unit is. In terms of defense though, for an Elven elite unit, I'm not too impressed. 21 total defense with 13 being in armor and 8 in defense skill. Skilled against mounts, excellent morale which is locked, good response, 110 movement speed and an extra bonus against all types of mounted units. Probably your best flankers, with these monstrous attack stats that they have. It doesn't hurt your eyes that they look really cool as well. And that's it for the units. Let's wrap up this overview with some strengths and weaknesses for your faction as a whole. Let us take a look into the strengths and weaknesses of Lothlórien, beginning with the weaker areas. Slow recruitment. It takes a long time for you to recruit units, and it takes a long time to replenish them. This means that you really need to take good care of the few troops you have available. Expensive units. With elves comes great quality, but also high costs. The forces of Lothlórien won't be cheap, and the upkeep will be painful to handle. This can really hinder you from taking offensive actions. Small unit battalions. Your unit sizes are smaller than anyone else. This makes the risk of getting swamped and utterly surrounded far higher than any other race of Middle-earth. Mediocre cavalry. I'm gonna put this as an in-between. The cav you get is expensive and mediocre for the price you pay, but you're still gonna need the cav you can get, so it's a mixed bag here. Now on to the strengths of this faction. Overall quality. As with all Elven factions, the overall quality is really high. Just look at your militia tier troops, if we can even call them that. Those stats are the same as other nations' mid-tier and in some cases late game troops. Archers. This is your biggest strength, no doubt. You'll be able to destroy armies before they even reach you. Scripts. I'm gonna put the scripts in here as well, since they give you some huge bonuses on the campaign map as well as the battlefield. Fun. Lothlórien is a really enjoyable campaign, and I'd recommend people to try them out if they have not yet had the opportunity to do so. There is something oddly satisfying with killing 3,000 orcs and losing 20 elves in one battle. And there you have it. I hope you have enjoyed this overview of Lothlórien for version 5. I might have forgotten something, and if that is the case, feel free to correct me. This is in no way aimed to compete with other channels' overviews, and I would gladly recommend you guys to watch other great overviews out there, mainly from Augimund and Asheron, since those are the other channels that I'm aware of. Big thank you to Tom Romain as well, for allowing me to use his amazing elven art for the thumbnail. A link to his art is in the description down below. That is everything. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye to you all.